Hi everybody, welcome to my new bedroom, and I'm in a new place. I've moved house, but I will tell you more about that soon as well. Anyway, for today I'm going to have to cheat. New Year's Day has been rather busy because I've moved house. I've been unpacking a lot, so I thought I will show you some footage from my trip to Berlin that I went on back in July, because I promised you I would show you it and I never got around to it, so here it is. Hi everybody, so I am on a little bit of a holiday, and as you can probably tell, it's not like a sunshiny holiday vacation type thing. I am in the city of Berlin, and I'm here for a couple of days to see the sights and taste the food and all that, yeah. So just a couple of days, and I'm going to take you guys with me. Of course, one of the stops I had to make, one of the first stops, was to come and get some lovely bakery things. So this is quite a fun bakery as well, because I got my food over there, and now I can sit and eat my food and watch this guy making bread and things. Maybe pick up some tips. So one of the things I'm doing on my first day here is going on a walking tour. However, I've got about 2.5 hours before that starts, so I decided to come to the zoo! Isn't this like the awesomest entrance to a zoo you've ever seen? It's like the stones all carved with animals and things. Let's go see what's inside. I already love this zoo. Like, I've only just walked from the entrance over there, and we've seen llamas and elephants. And then over on that cliffy mountain thing, there's some mountain goats and stuff as well. This is just fantastic, look. And little couple of these streets and things. Plop, plop. Oh, it's a lazy Sunday morning, isn't it? How fun. He's sliding down ever so slowly. Can you see? I know they're a bit far away, but those are lions up there, and the way that this one here is lying, that lying lion, with his feet up against the wall, just reminds me of Sheldon, because that's how he sleeps, on the sofa and things, with his feet up the back of the sofa and on his back. Lazy, lazy lions and lazy, lazy Sheldon. Hello, Mr. Tanky Muscle Man. Hello, little goat. You want to be famous on YouTube? Well, it's not even that famous. Yeah, you're very sweet. Well, that was lots of fun, and as you can see, the sun is out now, which means my walking tour is going to be really good. It's going to be lovely weather for walking around. And yeah, although walking around that zoo, my feet are already a wee bit sore, so I'm not sure how I'm going to cope with 4 hours of walking tour.
We just crossed the river Spree. I'm sorry if you get wet in the front row when I'm talking German. The river Spree, there we go. River Spree, don't worry, I'll get it. River Spree is actually in English the river spree, which gives us the expression to go on a spree and have a party. And that's where it comes from, getting on a boat. Thousands of boats every day will take people like you around the rivers and the canals. We've got more waterways inside the city limits of Berlin, actually, than Venice. They've got more bridges inside Berlin than Venice has.
So our tour guide just seems to know everything about everything. It's really quite fascinating. He just has answers about everything that seems to be about Berlin, or even about the world. I was talking to him earlier, and he was all like, "Oh, you're from Belfast." And I was like, "Yeah," because he seems to have travelled everywhere as well. Ooh, I'll go on one of those. So this line is where the Berlin Wall was, that divided the city into east and west, between the districts, east and west. The east run by the Soviet Union, and the west run by the Americans, the British and the French, split into 3. And this is to represent, you know, whenever people came from the east into the west, they would have seen the American soldiers, and on the back of that, there's a picture of a Russian soldier to signify the other direction. You'll see as well, just there's a little army checkpoint thing made up. There's a bit of a touristy thing, and they have the sign up. You're entering the American sector, carrying weapons, off-duty forbidden, obey traffic rules. So, and quite typically in the background for the American occupied district is McDonald's. These are actual sections of the wall that have been repainted and put on display. I like this one a lot though. Every wall is a challenge. So true though. That's some of the wall that is still standing. Obviously there's some gaps and things in it there, and there's bits of it have been chipped away and whatever. And people seem to chip away at it to make souvenirs to sell as well, so you can buy like pieces of the Berlin Wall to take home with you. Or you could just be cheeky and chip a bit off yourself.
Europe of the Jews and of Marxism. So, if anybody tries to tell you, or you see it on the Hitler channel, sorry, did I say History Channel? That Hitler might have been thinking of going down to Berchtesgaden, down to the hills of Bavaria, and continuing the war down there, they haven't read Joseph Goebbels' diary, which was taken by the Russians in 1945 and is now open source. So that's what they decide. And in fact, that's exactly what he does, because, as I said, shortly after 3:20 in the afternoon, 3:20 p.m., he actually does commit suicide right where we are standing, right below here. He's already made sure that his wife of some 18 hours, because he does indeed marry Eva Braun, she correctly becomes Frau Eva Hitler, in a sweet little wedding ceremony right below where we're standing. And she is Frau Eva Hitler, therefore, for 18 hours. She goes first, bites on a cyanide capsule, and is dead immediately. They've already made sure that this is going to work by testing the cyanide capsule on Hitler's dog, which was called Blondie. That works. Blondie goes. So, he is given instruction on how to kill himself. He withdraws, and they both do. She bites on a cyanide capsule, and he makes sure that she's dead. She's gone. And he then puts a gun to his mouth. We used to think for years it was through the side of the temple, but in fact it is up through the back of his mouth, and blows his head off, having just seconds before bitten on a cyanide capsule. So he's what they call, where I come from in Scotland, did I mention I'm going to Scotland tomorrow? Where I come from in Scotland, that's called being double D'd. He's double dead. 2 different fatal causes. He was then buried on his own orders, just where thousands of tourists have stood over the years, just to the left of that tree. He is then set fire to. The idea on his orders is to cremate him. That's what they've been told to do. So Otto Gunscher, Heinz Linger, Rocco Smisch, all of these big people, in his bunker, collect 200 litres of gasoline. That's all they can afford and find. Immolate the bodies, because Frau Hitler and he are buried next to each other. But before that happens, and when the flames go out, they've run out of fuel before the bodies are completely burnt. So, covered over with a blanket, earth piled on top, a couple of Heil Hitler salutes, and the rest of the senior hierarchy in the bunker either are intent on committing suicide, 11 of them do, 11 commit suicide, the twats, or on getting out of here. And Hitler stays there for 5 days. It takes the Soviets, having gained a victory here, more or less on the afternoon of the 1st of May 1935. Things are pretty well over here. And but then they start looking for Hitler and get the wrong guy. When they finally realize a mistake and dig up the right Hitler, it's 5 days later. A young woman who's called Valentina Onufrieva, who is a chief pathologist from the 3rd Shock Army of the 1st Belarusian Front of the Soviet Red Army, got all that on there? Mm-hmm. She is put in charge of the pathology, and she autopsies Hitler, severs his head from the rest of the torso, which is quite badly burnt, and they're intent on trying to identify Hitler by the teeth, which is the thing to do. And that's what they do. So one of their most important possessions is Hitler's own dentist's X-ray, taken on the Kurfürstendamm, where Hitler's dentist was. The building, by the way, is still there. That's where Hitler's surgery was.
Most other people, like his hairdresser, etc., they all came to him, but he had to go to the dental surgery. It was too much equipment to pull into the bunker here. There we go. And so the Soviets used this, and I don't know whether you can see it, but there's a thing here called the telephone bridge. That's what dentists in those days called this type of bridging work, because it looks like the receiver of an old Bakelite type of telephone. There. And there it is again, where my thumb is. This is an original Russian photograph, which I've asked to have a copy made. I go to Moscow, Vremya от времени, from time to time, and they're very cooperative now. And they'll tell you, if you say you're a serious historian, and they sometimes believe it, they'll actually show you what they've got as evidence that they really have got Hitler, and that he's not actually somewhere else. I've heard all sorts of stories. No, he's not working in Starbucks in Buenos Aires, and he is definitely, and this is, I'm being quite serious, he is not in a crashed B-29 American bomber in a crater on the moon with Elvis Presley as the rear gunner. That is not Hitler, it's somebody else. So there we are.
You know what? It's been a lot of fun today. More tomorrow, and I have ideas of things that I want to do now after having done that walking tour. But you know what? My feet are killing me, so I'm sure that I'm going to get an all-day train pass tomorrow and just get the underground everywhere. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow. Bye!